What is a genius? This is a very big and important question. Maybe you have asked this question before. Or maybe you heard someone talk about a genius on TV or in a book. When we hear the word genius, we often think about very smart people. We think of someone who can solve a math problem very fast. We think of someone who writes amazing music or builds amazing machines. We think a genius is someone who is very special, someone who is different from us. But is that really what a genius is? Is a genius born with a special brain? Are they lucky? Are they just born smarter than the rest of us? Or, could genius be something else? Maybe genius is not what we think. Maybe it is not about being perfect. Maybe it is not about knowing everything. Maybe genius is something much more simple, and something much more human. And maybe, just maybe, genius is already inside you. Let's imagine something wonderful together. What if genius is not far away? What if it is not only for famous people in history books or science labs? What if genius is something that lives inside all of us, waiting to grow? I believe this is true. And I believe it could be true for you. You don't need to be perfect to be a genius. You don't need to be fast or know all the answers. You don't need to win prizes. You only need to have one small thing, a curious heart. A heart that wants to learn. A mind that wants to understand more. A spirit that doesn't give up. If you are learning something new, if you are asking questions, if you are trying even when it's hard, that is already genius thinking. Genius does not always shine bright like a light. Sometimes it grows slowly, like a small candle. And over time, it becomes a fire. Many people believe in something called the genius myth. A myth is a story, but not always a true one. This myth says that only a few people in the world are geniuses. It says that geniuses are born that way. They come into the world with special brains, special eyes, special hands. They learn everything fast. They never get confused. They never need help. People say, she's just a genius, or he was born smart. And so, many people believe this story. They think, I'm not like them. I could never be a genius. And that's where the problem begins. Because this idea, this myth, can stop people from learning. It can stop people from dreaming. If you think only special people can be great, then maybe you won't try. But that would be a mistake. Because this myth is not true. The real story of genius is very different, and much more beautiful. Let's look at that myth again. The idea that genius is magic, that it just happens, is not correct. Genius is not something that falls from the sky. It is not a gift that only some lucky people receive. Genius is not fast. Genius is not easy. In fact, genius is often slow. It takes time. It grows. Like a tree, it starts small. You water it. You feed it. You protect it. You give it light. And one day, it becomes strong. That is how genius works. It is not about being born special. It is about growing every day. Even when no one sees. Even when it feels like you are going nowhere. So the truth is this, genius is not a magic power. It is a quiet, patient force. It grows inside people who keep learning, keep asking, and keep believing, even when it's hard. Every genius, yes, every single one, started somewhere. They did not begin with all the answers. They did not understand everything at the start. They were children once. They were students once. They were lost sometimes. They were confused. They made mistakes. Just like you. Just like me. They were not born great. They became great through time, through effort, through questions, and through many small steps. The people we call geniuses today, were not always seen that way. Some were even laughed at. Some were told they were not smart. But they kept going. They didn't stop. They didn't give up. That is the key. A genius is not someone who knows everything. A genius is someone who keeps learning, even when it's hard, even when others don't believe in them. And that means anyone can begin this journey. Anyone can walk the path of genius. That includes you. Now let me tell you a story. This is a true story about someone you probably know, Albert Einstein. Today, when people hear his name, they think of a genius. They think of a man with crazy hair, big ideas, and a love for science. They say, he was the smartest man in the world. But the truth is, his life was not easy. And he didn't look like a genius when he was young. In fact, when he was a little boy, some adults thought he had a problem. He didn't speak until he was 4 years old. He was quiet and different. His teachers said he was slow. They said he was not smart. But Einstein was not slow. He was just thinking in his own way. He was asking questions inside his mind, questions that most people never think about. And that is how his genius began. Albert Einstein's early school life was difficult. He did not like rules. He did not like to memorize facts. He didn't enjoy tests or pressure. He wanted to understand things deeply. He asked many questions. Why does time move the way it does? What is light made of? How does the universe work? These were not easy questions. And his teachers didn't always have the answers. Sometimes, they were even annoyed by him. They told him to stop asking so much. But Einstein couldn't stop. He didn't want to just accept answers. He wanted to know the truth. And that deep desire to understand, that is what made him special. He was not trying to be famous. He was just trying to learn. And even when others did not believe in him, he continued to believe in his own questions. That is what real genius looks like. Einstein's mind was full of questions. He could sit and think about one idea for hours, even days. He would imagine himself flying through space, riding on a beam of light. He didn't need a fancy lab. He didn't need big machines. He used his imagination. That's all. Some people called him strange. But that didn't stop him. He kept thinking. He kept dreaming. And slowly, his ideas became something powerful. He wrote about time and space in a way no one had ever done before. He showed the world new ways to understand the universe. But remember, it started with simple things. With sitting quietly. With asking questions. With not giving up. So when you feel slow, or lost, or different, remember Einstein. His genius came not from knowing everything, but from thinking in his own way. Einstein failed many times. When he finished school, he tried to get a job as a teacher. No one wanted to hire him. He sent applications to many schools. They all said no. He felt sad. He felt alone. But he didn't stop. He found a job in an office. It was boring. He looked at numbers all day. But at night, he worked on his ideas. He studied. He wrote. He dreamed. He didn't give up. And after many years, people started to see his work. They began to understand his ideas. He became famous. But fame was never his goal. His goal was always learning. That's what makes a genius. Not just talent. Not just being right. But never giving up, even when the world says no. So what can we learn from Einstein's story? We learn that genius is not about a fast start. It's about the long journey. Genius is not about being the best in school. It's about asking the right questions. Genius is not always loud. Sometimes, it is quiet. Sometimes, it grows slowly, like a flower in the dark. But it grows. And it keeps growing, when we are curious, when we are patient, and when we don't give up. Einstein's story is not just about science. It is about hope. It is about learning your own way. And if you are learning, if you are growing, if you are asking your own questions, then maybe your journey is just beginning too. So now we ask again, what does it really mean to be a genius? After hearing Einstein's story, we can see that genius is not just about knowing facts or solving hard math problems. It's not about being fast or perfect. Genius is something more simple, and more human. Genius means thinking in a new way. It means asking questions when others don't. It means seeing something that others might not see. For example, when everyone else sees a problem, a genius might see a new idea. When others say, "It's too hard," a genius says, "Let's try." Genius is not only for scientists or artists. It can be in anyone, in a farmer, in a teacher, in a mechanic, or even in a child who loves to ask, why. Genius is not a thing you have. It is a way you think, a way you live, and a way you see the world. We often think of geniuses as people who become famous. People who write books, create inventions, or win big prizes. But there are many kinds of genius, and most of them are never on TV. A student who helps her classmates understand a lesson, that's a kind of genius. A grandmother who teaches her grandchild how to grow food, that's genius too. A man who fixes cars with just his ears and hands, that is practical genius. You see, genius is not always about books or science. It can also be about understanding people. About solving problems. About creating something new with what you have. There are geniuses in every city, every town, every village. They are often quiet. They are often kind. And they are always learning. So the next time you think, "I'm not a genius," remember, if you are solving problems, helping others, or learning something new, you might already be one. Some people think, if I'm not famous, then I can't be a genius. But that is not true. You do not need to be in the newspaper. You do not need millions of followers online. You do not need to win a Nobel Prize. Genius is not about being known by the world. Genius is about how you think, how you grow, and how you try. A child playing with numbers is a genius. A cook making a new recipe with love is a genius. A nurse helping patients smile again is a genius. Fame is just attention. But genius is action. You can have a genius mind and a kind heart. You can do small things with great creativity. That is true genius, quiet, deep, and real. So don't wait for the world to call you a genius. Just keep learning. Keep building. Keep sharing. Your genius is already working. Now let's talk about something very special, passion. Passion is when you love something deeply. You feel excited when you do it. You don't watch the clock. You don't count the hours. You just want to keep going. Most geniuses have passion. They don't work only because they must. They work because they want to. They feel joy in learning. They enjoy the challenge. For example, Marie Curie worked with dangerous chemicals in a small lab. She was poor. She was tired. But she loved science. That love gave her power. She changed the world with her work. She did not stop, even when people said, "You can't." Her passion was strong. And that passion made her genius grow. So ask yourself, what do you love to do? What makes you forget time? That love, that passion, is the fuel for your genius. Maybe right now, you're not sure what your passion is. That's okay. Passion can start small. Maybe you enjoy drawing, or helping others, or fixing things. Maybe you like reading stories, or playing with numbers. That small joy can grow. Geniuses do not always know what they love at first. But they try different things. They explore. They stay open. Over time, their passion becomes stronger. It becomes clearer. And then, they follow it. If you have something that makes you smile, or makes you curious, follow that. Give it time. Let it grow. That's how you find your own genius. You don't need to be sure today. You only need to be willing to explore. Passion grows when you care. And when your passion grows, your genius grows too. There is a famous saying, practice makes perfect. But I want to tell you something different, practice makes genius. Genius is not about always being right. It is not about never making mistakes. Geniuses make many mistakes. They fail. They try. They fail again. But the difference is, they don't stop. They keep practicing. Again and again. Over time, they get better. Their mind becomes stronger. Their ideas become clearer. It's like building a muscle. If you lift something heavy every day, your arms grow stronger. If you practice thinking, solving, and learning, your brain grows stronger too. That is what geniuses do. Not magic. Not luck. Just long, slow, focused practice. You can do the same. When you study English every day, you are practicing your mind. You are becoming stronger. You are becoming a genius, one small step at a time. Do you know what almost every genius has in common? They all failed. Yes, failed. Many times. Marie Curie's first experiments didn't work. Nikola Tesla lost all his money. Beethoven went deaf. Einstein was rejected by jobs and schools. But they all kept going. They didn't let failure stop them. They knew that failure is part of the path. It's normal. It's how we learn. It's how we grow. When we fall, we learn how to stand. When we get something wrong, we learn how to do it better. So if you feel like you're failing, don't be sad. Don't give up. Remember, every mistake is a lesson. Every fall is a step forward. Geniuses fall too. What makes them special is this, they get back up. And so can you. You may be thinking, that's nice, but I'm not like them. But I want you to stop and really listen. You can learn this way. You already are. Every time you practice English, every time you try again after making a mistake, you are doing something powerful. You are learning like a genius. You are building your brain. You are building your heart. You are building your future. It's not easy, and that's okay. Geniuses are not people who have it easy. They are people who continue when it's hard. You are learning how to continue. You are learning how to grow. That is genius. And that means, yes, truly, that you are one too. So now, let me ask you the question again, not about Einstein, not about Curie, not about anyone else. This question is about you. Are you a genius? You might feel shy. You might say, no, not me. Maybe you think geniuses are only people in books, or people who win big prizes. But let's look again. Do you try, even when it's hard? Do you ask questions? Do you make mistakes, and then try again? Do you learn new things, step by step, little by little? Do you have dreams, even small ones? If you said yes to any of these things, then yes, you might be a genius too. Genius is not about being the best. It is about loving to learn. It is about growing a little more each day. And that is something you can do. It is something you are already doing. Here's something very important to remember, you don't have to think like everyone else. In fact, many geniuses think differently. They don't always follow the crowd. They don't always do things the same way. And that is okay. Maybe you learn slowly. Maybe you need more time. Maybe you ask questions that other people don't ask. That's not a bad thing. That's a beautiful thing. That is your own kind of thinking. And different thinking often leads to great ideas. Some people laughed at Einstein. They thought he was strange. But his way of thinking, his different way, changed the world. So don't hide how your brain works. Don't be afraid to think your own way. That may be the start of your genius. There is no one kind of genius. Geniuses are not always scientists or inventors. Some are artists. Some are cooks. Some are teachers. Some are mothers, fathers, workers, farmers, students. Genius does not wear a suit. It does not always have a big degree. Genius can wear old clothes and live in a small town. Genius can be quiet. Genius can be loud. Some geniuses love people. Some geniuses love numbers. Some geniuses love music. Others love fixing things with their hands. That means there is room for your kind of genius too. You don't need to look like someone else. You don't need to act like someone else. You only need to grow your gift, the one that is already inside you. Genius comes in many shapes. It comes in your shape too. Sometimes learning feels lonely. You sit with your book, your phone, your thoughts. You make mistakes. You feel tired. You wonder, am I good enough? But you are not alone. Every person who learns, who grows, who tries, they all walk this same path. Even the greatest minds in history felt doubt. They felt weak. They wanted to stop. But they kept going. And you are doing the same. You are not behind. You are not too slow. You are learning, and learning takes time. You are part of a big story. A story of people who grow, step by step. So don't feel small. Don't feel alone. You are walking with millions of others who are also learning, who are also growing. We are with you. I am with you. Keep walking. You may not feel like a genius yet. That's okay. You don't need to feel perfect to be proud. You don't need to be the best to be valuable. Look at how far you've come. Think of all the words you now know. Think of the things you can read. Think of how many times you tried, even when you were tired. That is something to be proud of. Be kind to yourself. Be patient. Celebrate your progress, even the small wins. A genius is not someone who never fails. A genius is someone who keeps going, keeps growing, and keeps believing in their journey. And your journey is worth believing in. So take a deep breath. Smile. You are doing better than you think. As we come to the end of this story, I want you to remember one thing: you matter. Your mind matters. Your learning matters. Your dreams matter. You don't have to be perfect to be valuable. You don't have to be fast to be strong. The world is full of problems, but it's also full of people like you. People who are growing. People who are trying. People who are changing their lives. Your voice is important. Your ideas are important. Even if they feel small. Even if no one else sees them yet. Keep going. The world needs people like you, people who care, people who think, people who grow. That's what true genius really is. The most powerful thing you can do is simple: keep learning. Keep asking questions. Keep wondering. Don't stop when things are hard. Don't stop when you feel tired. The best things grow slowly. You may not see big change every day, but something is happening. Your brain is growing. Your understanding is growing. Your life is changing. And it all begins with small choices: to try again, to ask why, to learn one more word, to believe in yourself just a little more. This is the path of genius. This is the path you are walking. So keep walking. Keep learning. The world is better because you are on this path. So let's return to our first question one last time: what is a genius? A genius is someone who keeps learning. Someone who sees the world in a new way. Someone who tries, fails, and tries again. A genius is not someone far away. A genius is not someone perfect. A genius is someone just like you. Yes, you. You have questions. You have passion. You are learning. That means genius lives in you. So keep going. Keep asking. Keep growing. The world needs your light, your mind, your voice. And I believe, truly, that this is only the beginning. Your story is just starting. And it is going to be beautiful.